guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena, back on the pay to win account and continuing with our video series. A lot of people have been showing a lot of love and support. So ultimately we're going to go in today with the Graveborns. As you can see right over there on that side, that is Morale. So that is going to be the next Celestial hero that we have coming. Don't have any details on her yet, but if you've seen the patch notes today, she is coming very, very soon. So looking at the Graveborn, again, guys, this is not a tier list. This is not a real guide. I guess it's kind of just a general overview of where I see the Graveborn heroes. Ultimately, looking at Daimon first, definitely requires a plus 20 signature item to be really, really good. A lot of players ask, should we do the plus 30? The 30 does increase the duration of the blood shield, which increases his survivability. So ultimately, the plus 20 with the 3 of 9 furniture is really all you need. When you start getting further into level deficiencies, when you start pushing more into the campaign, the plus 30 for him is going to be required, as well as the furniture. Big thing with the furniture, it gives them more damage. So essentially, to kill out teams, especially when you get into level deficiencies, the 40% increased damage for 6 seconds on its 9 of 9 furniture will be very, very strong. And the next part of this really doesn't make a difference, because most of the time with the team comp, if Daimon dies, your team dies. Ultimately, he's usually the last one up anyways. Looking at Silas. Silas is a hero that does require the plus 30 signature item. Big thing with him is the attack rating boost of 20%. 20%, guys, is a massive boost when it comes to overall. If they have more than 50% health, remember, he does heal and he does provide an immunity, making him a very sought after hero. Looking at his abilities, 3 of 9, definitely good to increase the normal attack damage and normal attack frequency by 30%. The 9 of 9 for him is also good. Again, not really a solid priority for it, but 3 of 9 I definitely like because of the increased normal attack damage and normal attack frequency. Depending who he's paired with, the normal attacks of like a Gwen or normal attacks of, let's say, an Oden or an Isabella, very, very powerful. Ultimately, giving them more normal attack damage and normal attack frequency is a very powerful buff in there, which again is why Silas is a sought after Graveborn hero. Then we have Izold, guys. I picked up the skin for him. Ultimately, Izold, you need his plus 30 signature item. This is really the big thing because of the toxic transfusion. So when he uses his ultimate ability, he cannot be controlled, which is awesome. So he is cannot be controlled with that ability. And then of course we know his toxic transfusion is the heal. So not only does it give him a solid heal, it increases his haste, increases his attack rating, and the effects are increased to 18 seconds at level 3, meaning that he is going to have 18 seconds where he cannot be controlled. Very, very powerful if you can get him to ult. In addition, guys, his furniture is very, very strong. The 3 of 9, absolute priority. Have to absolutely have his 3 of 9 furniture because of the attack rating and the frequency. This is what really drives Izold into being a really, really solid tank. Having his 9 of 9 is really good as well, because once he uses that hypodermic needle, it becomes permanent and he doesn't need to use it again. So that hypodermic needle will become permanent, ultimately not having to use it again, which of course is his heal, restores 20% of his lost hit points per second. And again, that will come permanent with the 9 of 9, allowing him to scale, allowing him to live. That is the reason why Izold can go, 1-on-5 a lot of battles, even if his team dies out, and Izold can still win, which is one of the big reasons why he is so powerful. Looking at Thorin, Thorin is a hero. You only need signature item unlocked. You only need level 1 really to do the Thorin cheese. The higher you build him, the better the cheese effect kind of comes. But ultimately, guys, you only need the signature item unlocked. Thorin doesn't need his furniture either. You can definitely pick it up on there. It can help a little bit, making the cheese a little bit easier to kind of get through. But ultimately, guys, with the RNG that he brings, if you're doing the Thorin cheese, again, you only need the signature item unlocked. That is all you need to really be successful in getting the Thorin cheese done. If he does a double retaliation with his plus 30, definitely, again, makes it easier, but not a big priority if you're just going for the Thorin cheese. Looking at Shemira. Shemira, again, is a hero that needs a plus 20 signature item. That is exactly where I would stop. We use her right now for Dark Namora. That's really the only place, possibly in the Graveborn Tower every now and then. Ultimately, the plus 30 is an overkill for her. Plus 20 is good. And she is another hero, doesn't really prioritize building furniture, so she is pretty far down the list. Now we get into Nara. Nara is a hero that's been around for a while. I definitely like her plus 20 signature item because of the additional 24% life leech effect in there. The plus 30 signature item does do quite a bit of damage. So when her health drops below 50%, Butchery will no longer require enemies' health to be low to deal high amounts of damage. If you're using Nara, guys, short of the CC aspect of her, if you're using her as a finisher, if you're using her for damage, plus 30 signature item on her, definitely. Then, of course, her furniture. Since they did the rework to Nara, she has a CC effect. This is very, very powerful because throughout the battle, Nara will actually use her Impale ability, picking up a lot of heroes. If you have her plus 30 signature item, especially if she is below that 50% hit point threshold, she will do a ton of damage. And then, of course, her 9 of 9, again, if you're running Nara in a lot of different team comps, or if she is a go-to hero, building her furniture is not bad. That is a pretty high multiplier for damage, but ultimately you don't need the 9 of 9. The 3 of 9 will work just fine with Nara. Then we get into Oden. Since Oden has been reworked, guys, plus 30 signature item, absolutely. Oden's attack rating is raised by 5%. Haste is raised 4 points, stacking 15 times. He becomes an absolute monster when he scales because of this. Increasing his haste, again, 5% 15 times, or excuse me, his attack rating 5% 15 times, and then his haste. Absolutely build Oden, guys. He is absolutely crazy. And then you couple him with his furniture. Enemies struck by the ability Void Lightning have their energy recovery reduced by 80%. And then, of course, his 9 of 9, which I would absolutely build him with his 9 of 9. We're building him right now. Oden passively uses the ability Void Lightning every 8 seconds to attack the enemy with the highest current energy. So essentially, every 8 seconds, he is casting Void Lightning, guys. Void Lightning recovers an additional 50 energy points for every enemy struck, meaning every 8 seconds, he's getting 50 more energy and doing damage with the Void Lightning ability. So not only stacking through the use of the signature item, but here you're also doing damage with the Void Lightning. He is just an absolute mana or energy drainer, and he does a ton of damage. He can lock down entire teams, especially when you get his haste really, really going, which is why he is so effective with Pippa in the Portal Party. He will absolutely just spam his ultimate ability super quick and negate everyone else from using theirs. Very, very powerful hero to build. Then we look at Isabella. Isabella is one of the latest heroes to get her rework. Same thing with her. She is super, super powerful when it comes to the campaign or when it comes to the tower. Boss fights, we tried her out, but because of her plus 30 signature item, the Void Barrage, it hits multiple targets. When there's only one target, single target, she is not very effective at all. When it comes to multi-targets, she puts out a ton of damage since her rework, which is further from her 9 of 9, guys. So I have her completely maxed out on the Graveborn account. She destroys teams single-handedly. Similar to Ainz's ult, she just absolutely burns through heroes so fast. It's kind of crazy to see. Also right there, they gave her a 5-second Terrify, which is crazy because you can couple her with Ferael, you can put her with Oden, you can put her with Nara, you can put her with a lot of different heroes. That will just allow not only the energy disintegration, which she has now built in, but it will also allow her to do a ton of damage and a ton of crowd control when it comes to the heroes themselves. Isabella, again, another strong one to build out of here. Then we look at Grez. Grez is still the monster of the Twisted Realm, guys. Having him at a plus 30 signature item, plus 20 is more than good enough. If you're in the Twisted Realm, if you're in the Fabled Realm, if you're pushing the Twisted Realm, the plus 30 does help. But when you look at the difference between your 9 seconds for skeletons and the 7.5 seconds, it equates to usually 2 or 3 skeletons per battle. So with the timing, getting him to a plus 30 for, the stat boost, okay, great. But ultimately, if it is the Skeletal Warrior coming up 1.5 seconds quicker, not a real big priority. He will do very, very well at his plus 20. The big priority with Grez is the furniture, guys. His 9 of 9, the Skeletal Warrior summoned as a result of the ability, enjoy the effects of Shadow Shield. The Shadow Shield is the reason why the Skeletal Warriors live. Essentially, without the 9 of 9, your Skeletal Warriors will die very quickly. In boss fights, in the Twisted Realm, even in the campaign, they'll die really, really fast. The Shadow Shield provides them a ton of survivability, which is what you need out of his furniture. So again, guys, plus 20 on Grez, 9 of 9 furniture, definitely a requirement just because of that Shadow Shield on the minions, giving them time and ability to survive. So now we look at Ferael. Ferael's one of the old school rangers that we have. Ultimately, with him, just like most Graveborns, the plus 30 signature item does awesome. Attack rating for all enemies are reduced by 5%, and health recovery rates reduced by 15% for every spirit, guys. As you can see, both of these are 4 spirits. This takes it to 6 spirits. So you have 6 times your 5% attack rating reduction and 6 times the 15% recovery rate, health recovery rate reduction, which makes him super powerful. And even since they did his rework with his furniture, boom. Now Ferael's normal attacks cause the target to lose haste. So not only are they losing energy, now they are losing haste. Then looking at his 9 of 9, which is absolutely awesome, the ability Accursed Arrow as his normal attack. So now he uses a special attack as his normal attack, which can be used every 1.5 seconds, which can be lowered by haste, ultimately making him a super powerful hero to have pretty much in any formation. Theowyn. Theowyn is one of the newer rangers that we have in the Graveborn faction. Ultimately, short of the stall team, really haven't found much use for her. Used her a little bit in the Abyssal Expedition, so ultimately just to lower the attack rating. Overall, again, I don't know anyone who uses her in a formation, short of possibly filtering her into the stall team. Haven't really built her too much, and even here, with an energy recovery, there's a lot of heroes that do it a lot better. Same with the Haunting Spectre, just getting her more energy. Again, haven't found much use for her. There are a lot of other heroes that seem to work a lot better. I know niche in a couple formations, it can definitely work. Abyssal Expedition with relics, it could possibly work. Even looking at the Graveborns in the hunting fields, okay, we can make it work, but ultimately, when you look at the campaign or when you look at the Graveborn, there's a lot of other heroes that are built long before Theowyn is built. Which brings us to Thorin. Thorin is another hero similar to Theowyn. He does well if you have him fully maxed out. He can do well in the Graveborn Tower, but it comes to the debate is if I have Thorin or if I have Thorin, or if I have Thorin or if I have Izold. Really vice versa. It's not like Thorin is going to be an absolute game changer when it comes to the tanking position. There are a lot of other heroes that I would prioritize in front of Thorin, just because we're limited to the heroes we built, especially if you are free to play. So ultimately, guys, Thorin is a solid hero, but it takes a significant investment. But ultimately, when it comes to having the heroes built, there are a lot better choices than him ultimately to have built. Kelthur is a very strong burst hero. Again, Kelthur is not one that I've really built that much. The problem that I had with him was always survivability. A lot of times that I tried him, even having him ascended on my main account, was he would die a lot of times. Same problem we see with a lot of different rangers is when they go into melee range or when they go into caster range, they die out very, very quickly. And looking even here increases his damage a little bit. Looking at his furniture helps a little bit, but ultimately the rangers that we see really survive, like Titus, have damage mitigation where Kelthur doesn't. Kelthur is more of just pure straight damage, which can work again situationally. But ultimately, I don't know any formations that players run Kelthur in, possibly the Graveborn Tower. But ultimately, I still look at, would I have Kelthur in there or would I have Ferael? I would probably pop Ferael in there, and Ferael I would prioritize building much sooner than Kelthur. So then we look at the last two heroes that we have, or I think the last one, which is Baden. So guys, in theory, looking at his skills, Baden is very, very strong. Ultimately, having him built, his minions die too quick. So when he actually summons up these shadows or phantoms, the phantoms die super, super fast. He doesn't keep them up enough, even being fully built, to make him really viable. He's a hero in the Graveborn faction similar to Kelthur that I think needs a little bit of tweaking or a little bit of reworking, because as we see, just like with most of our ad heroes or our summoning heroes, Nimitsu's totems die very quick. Grez's skeletons die very quick. Baden's phantoms die very quick. So ultimately, we need something to keep them alive. Same with Solus's Floral Specters. They die super quick, especially when you start getting into, again, that level deficiency or the level gap as it widens. Literally all of the minions, all of the summons, the totems, everything of that nature will just be one-shotted, which kind of stinks because then you can't make any progression with the hero. And with him being a warrior, he still dies very, very quick. He doesn't have any mitigation. A hero that definitely needs to be reworked. So ultimately, guys, again, that is just kind of my snapshot of where I see the Graveborns. Looking at kind of my priority, I would definitely go ahead and build Daimon first. If you guys are using Daimon as a main carry, he is a big, big priority. He is used through the entire game, even if you build him, early game, or if you even are still using him late game, end game, he performs very, very well because he scales with the enemies as they get stronger. Silas gives that 20% attack boost, very strong to build, but ultimately my choice for number 2 would ultimately be playing the long game with building up Grez because he's going to be used for the Twisted Realm. Essentially, you'll use Saurus until you have Grez built. Once you have Grez built, then that's who you usually go to. Saurus still does see a little bit of play in there, but ultimately, Grez will be the one that you're utilizing. Short of there, I would probably go with some of the off ones, which, I mean, like the Nara for crowd control, probably Oden, Ferael, some of the ranger heroes or caster heroes. Oden I absolutely love. I think he has a lot of potential, guys, and a lot of people don't have him built. But since his rework, we have seen him doing absolute phenomenal. Ferael for the crowd control. We have Nara there for the crowd control. Ultimately, two very, very powerful heroes. Isabella, it seems like she is still going to be locked a little bit into the Graveborn Tower. Seems where she's really going to do well. Again, I don't really see her in many formations outside. Izold is definitely a hero worth building. After Daimon's done, after Silas is done, after a couple of the other core heroes we see, I would definitely build Izold. He does require a significant investment to be really, really strong because you got to have the time for him to scale. And then, of course, if you're doing the Thorin cheese, just go ahead and build Thorin to whatever level you want. Ultimately, if you're going with that cheese effect. So, guys, this is the Graveborns. We're going to cover the Light Bearers next, and then we'll do the Celestials and the Hypogeans. But ultimately, guys, I know we haven't seen any tier lists in a while, so I just wanted to go over kind of the heroes that I've been using, and it's been working really, really well. So let me know in the comments what heroes you are using, and as always, thank you guys for watching.